Well, thank you for having me today, inviting me down. I appreciate the Santa Catalina School and McKinsey for inviting me down to speak in front of you. I was extremely impressed stepping onto this campus today, and what a wonderful environment you've provided these young ladies to learn in. And more impressive was the young ladies I had opportunity to meet all along this way since the very start. I couldn't believe how respectful, professional, mature, and courteous these young ladies have all been through this entire process. And I can only attribute that to their environment here at Santa Catalina School. So a big hand for the school here. A little bit started about myself. I was 34 years in the fire service. I worked in East Palo Alto and some of the other challenging communities. I've had a chance to witness a lot of things over my career. A lot of difficult times, a lot of disastrous times. I was also part of the urban search and rescue team where I've toured this country on some of our largest disasters and got to work with some people from all over the world, both international and local. I went to Hurricane Katrina, the Oklahoma bombing, New York City, 9/11, Greensburg, Kansas, tornado. And I got to see how people can come together in these difficult and challenging times and how good people can be. Going across, people from all over the world have come in to help us during these disasters. People from all over the nation have come together in difficult times to step up and do what I say is the right thing. And how giving people can be out there. One of the examples in Greensburg, Kansas, the town was decimated by a tornado. Nothing left. People lost everything they had. And that next day I was brought into town to help with the rescue operations and manage the rescue operations. As I'm walking down the street, there's a family going through their ruins. There's nothing left of their house. They're going through very little. We stopped in front of their house. They have nothing left, yet they came to us. Can we give you some water? Can we feed you? Thank you for being here. Just the culture and the givingness and people and how good people can be out there was impressive. And this happened time and time again. All these events all around the country, internationally, I've got a chance to go to. But also in some of these events, I've got to see what ugliness is and what people can do and not do in these challenging events. And it boggled my mind, how could people actually go loot someone's house? How could they go steal? How could they try to mess with these people? Where do they get in their values, their beliefs, their ethics, their morals? Where are they getting this, and how could they actually do this? So I've got to see both sides of the coin as this is going on. Which brings me to my talk today is, what will people do during a disaster? Will they do the right thing, the wrong thing, or nothing at all? Where do you fit in? The young ladies here, the guests in this room, where do you fit in this process? During a disaster, have you in the past and will you in the future do the right thing? In the past disaster, have you done nothing at all? Or will you just do the wrong thing? We're hoping that part of your education, your family values, and where you're brought up will teach you to do the right thing. And that's what we're going to bring you today is these TED Talks talk mostly about, in the beginning, technology, entertainment, design, and they provide you a lot of insight, answers, questions, a look into the future. My talk is not like that. My talk is to look about your past and to see and stimulate question and thought of where you will be in the future. What will you do during one of these events? And before we talk about what we'll do, let's talk about what is a disaster. Tell me what a disaster is. What do you think a disaster is? Something terrible you can't prevent. Yeah, that certainly is a disaster. And our disasters are broken up a lot of different ways here. They have international disasters, famine, earthquakes, Fukushima nuclear disaster, international events that go on, genocide. We have national events, the World Trade Center, Oklahoma bombing, large fires, the recent ones in Texas and in Florida, the floods, national disasters, local disasters, the gas event in San Bruno, airplane crash in East Palo Alto, these fires that just took place up here in Northern California, local disasters that we're all part of, all involved in. But the part they don't talk about and the part that we don't see is what about the personal disasters in our life? And what's a personal disaster? You losing a child, you losing your job, you lose your home. Those are disastrous events for personal as an individual. I failed my midterm test. I'm having a bad hair day. Those are disastrous for some people. Those are disastrous events. Those are big events in someone's life because they change their life, they change their direction, they change how they act. For you to recognize a disaster doesn't have to be something at large scale. It doesn't have to be that ominous thing. It can be something as small as just recognizing somebody when they're having a difficult time in life and what you could do to help them through that process. And you can all do something. Do the right thing. That's what we think is, just get involved versus doing nothing. What will you do during a disaster? Well, during a disaster, you see there's the pictures up above there. These are some international disasters, some local disasters, New York City, Oklahoma there, the fires up in San Bruno. See, what will you do? Will you do the right thing? Will you do the wrong thing? Or will you do nothing at all? Hopefully we'll get you to do the right thing up there. And doing the right thing is just getting involved. Do something. It may not be your disaster, but the effects on it will affect you and affect those people long down the road. By not doing anything at all, it'll leave a hole inside you. You'll remember that. By doing the right thing, you don't know what it'll bring you, but it'll always bring you something good. Pay forward in life, do the right thing, get involved for small things, simple things. Homeless people, difficult times out there, shelters. We're coming up on the holiday seasons here. You're all blessed with fortune here by where you live and the environment you're put in. There's people that don't have this fortune. As our earlier speakers brought up, coming to this country not speaking the language, doing some of the things here and having difficult challenges even with their language here. Get involved with that. What is the wrong thing? Well, the wrong thing, and it boggles my mind that people will do this. You look at, some of you were pre-Rodney King days, but just the riots that went on during Rodney King, things going on, people taking advantage of other people. Doing the right thing, that's brought up by good character, consideration, ethics, values, and morals. And we'll talk about those in a minute. Doing the wrong thing, lack of ethics, values, and morals out there. Looting, stealing, taking advantage of the situation. When you look up in Webster's dictionary, what does ethics mean? What is values? What are morals? They're all kind of combined together. They all kind of work together. They talk about right and wrong, good and bad, socially acceptable, unacceptable things. Where do you fit in that? And what environment is providing you in that environment? Doing the right thing, doing the wrong thing. Where did you get your behavior? Where did it stimulate from? Going forward, doing nothing. Doing nothing here. Do you walk by people, turn your head so you don't see them, they don't see me? I kind of miss them. I'm okay about it. Do you cover up? Do you put your head in the sand and bury your head during these events? And again, a disaster can be something of an international scale or a personal scale. That say nothing, see nothing, hear nothing. Do you do those things in life? And those all come from where you're brought up, how you got to this point. And all of our previous speakers talked about their challenges getting to where they're at and getting to where they are today and where they need to go forward. This talk is to look back on where you were brought up, how your family values were, where did they raise you, how did they raise you, how about your religion, what did it bring to you, your culture, your environment, this school here, phenomenal campus to prepare you for the future as future leaders here. Where did you learn your values? Where did you learn right and wrong? Where will you go with them in the future? Doing the right thing is getting involved. And as Theodore Roosevelt mentioned here, I love this saying here, in any moment of decision, the best thing you can do is the right thing. The worst thing you can do is nothing. Where do you end up by doing nothing? You'll remember doing nothing because you always think about, I should have done something. I could have done something better with that. Where did I go in life? You'll end up with a hollow spot in your soul for just standing back and not helping those in need. Now to come down and get closer here, a little lesson here from Dr. Seuss. For people in need, will you do a good deed? For others who are getting a raw deal, will you try and steal? For people who end up in difficult times, will you pay them no neverminds? Doing the right thing is not about doing it because you're expected to, or your answer, you have to. You do the right thing because it feels good to you. It's your values, it's your ethics, it's your responsibility in life to do the right thing. And you're doing the right thing when people aren't looking. That's the part where, am I really doing the right thing when nobody's looking? Did you do the right thing? I appreciate your time here to go over this. I know that a lot of you have been through some challenging times here. You've ended up in this location. End up in this location here to provide you with a good environment. Take advantage of where you are. Become the people you should be in the future. Become the people that you're meant to be. Do good. Do the right thing. Thank you.